Let us understand the strategy to factor monomials with 10 examples, including fractions. I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my YouTube channel and the website Global Math Institute. Here is the very first video on how do we factor polynomials. So we are saying step 1 for polynomials factoring. We basically are working with monomial factoring at present. Sometimes we also call it group factoring, correct? So here are 10 examples which we are going to explore. With that, you'll get a great concept to answer similar questions and move on to a higher level of factoring polynomials, right? We do refer to these terms as highest common factors also and also group factoring. Great. Now, let's begin with them one by one. The very first one is 2x plus 6y. What is common between the two? First, you check the numbers. So between 2 and 6, we have 2x plus 6y, right? As you can see, 6 is 2 times 3, right? So you can think like this. 6 is 2 times 3, right? And therefore, the common factor is just 2. So we can write down this 2 as a common factor. Everything which remains get into the bracket and we get x plus 3y inside the bracket. All these three statements are equal and therefore you can also write equal to sign in between. Perfect. Now we have the next example where we have variable p to the power of 5 plus p to the power of 3. To the power of 5 means what? Means this is like p times p times p times p times p. And to the power of 3 means p times p times p, right? As you can see, these three are common to both. So we can rewrite this as common factor, which is p times p times p. And what remains is p times p plus, since we take them all like this. This is just to illustrate. However, it becomes p cubed times p square plus 1 as the final answer. You get the whole idea, right? So, in the first part, I'm just trying to expand and make it more simpler for our grade 7 and 8 students to understand, right? And now we'll move on slightly faster with the rest of the examples. This time we have 9x squared y minus 12xy squared. So first thing, you have to look for the constants and then the variables. So let me copy the question, which is 9x squared y minus 12xy squared. So the numbers, 9 is 3 times 3, 12 is 3 times 4, right? So 3 is common, correct? So you can think like this, that 9 is 3 times 3, right? And 12 is 3 times 4. So 3 is common, correct? And therefore, I can write 3 as a common factor. So if I write 3 as a common factor, what remains inside is the other 3, correct? Now let's look into x. We have x squared and x, means one of the x is common and we are left with one x here. And in this case, let me write here minus. When we took out 3, 4 remained and x has been taken out, so that is not common. Y and y squared means we could take y as common factor. Here nothing remains and here we get 4y. Do you see that? So that is another way of looking at it. So clearly in this, you can see the common factors are 3x and y, right? So you could also rewrite that this has a highest common factor of 3xy. Since highest common factor is 3x5, you can write it outside and then what remains. Dividing that term monomial by this, you get your answer. So that's another way of looking at it. Clear? Correct. So while we move on, we are also learning different strategies. Question number 4 is 6x square y cube z plus 24 x to the power of 4 y square z. Now let's find what is the highest common factor here. As far as the numbers are concerned, 6 and 24, 6 is common. X lower power is 2, so x square is common. Y square is common, and in z is common. So, how will you write it? Well, you can write this as 6x square y square z as common. And now, whatever remains means divide that monomial with this term and get 6 divided by 6 is 1, x square has been taken out, y square has been taken out, 1y is left. In the other monomial, 24 divided by 6 is 4, x square and x to the power of 4. 4 minus 2 is 2, so we get x square here. Y square has been taken out and z has been taken out, so that becomes the final answer. Do you see that? So what we did was we first identified the highest common factor, brought it outside the bracket. Now, if you apply the distributive property, you'll get back your polynomial, correct? It means it is absolutely right. So either way, you have understood the process of factoring monomials. Now, let's expertise on them with three terms. So now we have three different terms and we need to identify how do we find the highest common factor. So first thing is highest common factor. You can identify numbers 4, 8, 12 means 4 is common. X square, x is common. Y square, y is common. And therefore, if I write this question, which is 4x square y plus 8xy square minus 12xy square, I can write 4xy as common factor. And what remains is x here. 8 divided by 4 is 2. X has been taken out. Y remains. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Minus sign is there. X is out. Y is out. 1y remains. Do you see that? So you see how we start from very basics and now we have improved our speed of solving such questions. So it doesn't really matter whether we have 2 or 3, but same process. Next one. So let's identify what is the highest common factor here. Well, 3, 8. And here we have 2xy whole square. This question is slightly tricky, right? So when I say xy whole cube means x cube and y cube. And when I say 2xy whole square means 2 square x square y square. So instead of jumping, let us rewrite the question. We have 3x square y minus 8. When x and y both are cube, you write x cube, y cube. Do you understand? This cube is on both x and y. Minus 2 square means 4, x square, y square. So you're going to square each term within the bracket. 2 also gets squared and it becomes 4. So what we get here is 3 x square y minus 8 x cube y cube minus 4 x square y square. As far as numbers are concerned, they do not have a common factor. But if you see x and y's term, we have x square and we have y as common, correct? So we could factor this and write this as x square y, and what remains is 3 for the first term since x square y has been taken out minus 8 x and y square minus 4 x and y. So that becomes the factored form after we identify the highest common factor. Makes sense? Correct? Next question. In this question, you'll find that we have fractions. Half x minus 5x squared. And then we have fractions with three terms. half u square v minus 1 by 4 uv square plus uv. Slightly difficult question. What can we take common as? So, let's identify the highest common factor first. The highest common factor in this case is half x. Now, how do we solve this question? So, the question was half x minus 5x squared. We can take half x as common, so nothing remains for the first one. It is just 1, right? Minus. What should be there? 5 by 2 or 5 times 2? We have taken half, right? So it should be 5 times 2, 10. X is taken out, 1 remain, and so that becomes within the bracket. Now brackets, you can use these brackets or the brackets which we had been using earlier. Both can work. Perfect. Now, question number 8. We have half u square v minus 1 by 4 uv square plus uv. What is the highest common factor? Well, the numbers, which is lower, half or 1 by 4? Well, 1 by 4 is lower. So we'll take 1 by 4 as a common factor. Amongst u's and v's, we have u and v as a common factor. So now, let's see. The question is half u square v minus 1 by 4 u v square plus u v. So we can take 1 by 4 u v common, correct? So 1 by 4 is common. So half should become what? Half should be 2. Multiply half by 4, you get 1 by 2, right? So you get the idea. So in this case, 2 will be the term which will come here. U square means u. V is already outside. 1 by 4 is taken out. So we have v as the common factor. uv is taken out, so 1 is the common factor. So we get 1 by 4 uv into u minus v plus 1 as the other terms. Is that clear to you? You can open the bracket and verify that does give you the right result. Perfect? Great. So let's move on and take up the next question, which is slightly more difficult since I have taken bigger numbers. First, let us identify the highest common factor. Numbers 26, 52, 39. Well, in the numbers, 13 is a common number. X and Y is a common variable. So we could write 26 x square y minus 52 xy plus 39 xy square as equal to 13xy, the common factor. Dividing 26 by 13 gives us 2. X remains, right? 13 times 4 is 52. And then we have plus 39 is 3 times, and we are left with y. Is that clear to you? So I hope you got the technique to do it. The last one, I'd like you to pause the video, answer, and then look into my suggestions. So first identify the highest common factor, the numbers 9 and 27. 9 is common. Look at each variable. U square and u cube means u square is common. V to the power of 4, V to the power of 5, V to the power of 4 is common. W to the power of 6 and 7, W to the power of 6 is common. Once you identify this, then go ahead with factoring. The 9 u square, V to the power of 4, W to the power of 6 minus 27 u cube v5 w7 should be equal to 9 u square v to the power of 4 w6 as a common factor. So all the terms from the first one have been taken away, so 1 remains. Minus 9 times 3 is 27, and we have u, v, and w. Correct? 7 minus 6, 5 minus 4, 3 minus 2 gives you 1 power each of w, v, and v. Perfect. So that is how we are going to do it. So we are able to factorize using highest common factor for all these questions. Remember the variety. We have fractions, we have components which have the terms like xy whole square and some very big numbers to deal with. I hope it makes sense. Perfect. Feel free to write your comment, share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for your time and all the best.